A group of health workers in Ontario are hearing they have to give back the extra money they receive for putting their health on the line. Over the spring and summer, as you'll probably recall, the province gave temporary pandemic pay to frontline workers. But about 200 employees in Toronto have been told they got that money by accident, and now they're being told they have to repay it. Angelina King spoke with one of those workers.
It makes you feel worthless.
This secretary says it feels like all the sacrifices she and her colleagues made going to work at a hospital during the pandemic aren't being acknowledged. CBC Toronto has agreed to withhold her identity and is calling her Erica for this story.
That pandemic pay really meant a lot to us. It really said a lot for the work that we do and the sacrifices.
It's our way of saying thank you.
When the Premier announced pandemic pay in April, Erica and her department weren't included, but she was hopeful they'd be added because they are at the hospital each day putting themselves at risk.
We trusted the hospital would look after it, but we were ecstatic when we got it. Everyone was so happy, and then to turn around and we just can't put it into words like how devastating it's made. It's a lot of money to us.
Erica says while it's added financial stress for some, it's not just about the money.
It's how we're valued. The morale is low.
UHN says the workers were never supposed to receive pandemic pay because they aren't eligible under the provincial guidelines. It's asking the 200 workers to pay it back, ranging in $100 to $1,500 a person. UHN apologized for the error and says workers have until the end of March to repay it. It also said leadership tried to influence the Ministry of Health to include all staff working at hospitals to get pandemic pay. Regrettably, a large number of employees have not been included. Questions to the ministry were directed to the Treasury Board Secretariat, which said, unfortunately, there's a limit to the amount of funding provided by the federal government, and we're not able to expand the program beyond the over 375,000 employees already deemed eligible. The 200 employees were given a deadline of September 9th to decide how they want to pay back that pandemic pay. But Erica says several of the employees have chosen not to respond. Not only do they want to keep the money, they still want their second installment. Angelina King, CBC News, Toronto.